Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing, November the 11th, Veterans Day 2025, remembering all the veterans around the great country of the United States and around the world, wherever they may be. The cryptocurrency has had quite the volatile up and down over the last couple of weeks. And why would that change today? And the key questions that were asked yesterday: was the pump going to continue? Was the bottom in? Or was this just a fake out to the upside coming up to major upper resistances? And that's something that we were going to have to watch. And that is absolutely what we're currently watching right now. As you see, we did have that minted bearish cross the other day. You got a descending moving averages, and you can see where the Bitcoin price got a big reversal was an area that you would watch and expect and perhaps have it happen, as you never know for sure when, if it's going to happen. But as we zoom out into the 1 hour time frame, you can see we came up straight up to the 200-day moving average and got rejected. Now the question is, do we A, come back to where I think we're going eventually, the 95,000 and change, or B, do we form a bottom here and ride that up to upper resistance and come back up to the 200-day moving average and attempt to break it and try to get up over the 110,989 and change? That's a critical question, right? And that's something that we're going to find out over the next several days. I still believe we're coming down to 95,000, which is the 50-day moving average in the weekly time frame, right? So that's what we're going to watch in Bitcoin in the short term. Obviously, in the longer term, if you want to get bullish and you want to get real bullish and get alt season kicking in, skip this Bitcoin back above these moving averages and make a run to get back within this pattern, which would be an all-time high, right? Or conversely, Micro Strategies just bought more Bitcoin. Old Vincenzo's been bringing this up to your guys' attention as nobody else in the sphere, mainstream or social media, are. Bitcoin Strategies has continued to purchase and buy Bitcoin. I just read it said their average price is at $76,000, which is very close to the 100-day moving average in the weekly time frame. And the Bitcoin price could come down here over the next few months. Could. Doesn't mean it will, but it could. And from the all-time high, that would be a 36.91% correction, which would be par for the course for the Bitcoin price after blow-off tops. The DGB, you can see we had its mini blow-off top, right? We had its mini blow-off top. And during this mini blow-off top, locally, after it was near an all-time low, it went up about 100% from swing high. Let's extend that out. Yeah, about 108%. And then we were talking about the volume declining. And then your major area that you have to hold is this 0.00818, because if you don't hold this, unfortunately, it's going to give up. It's going to give back all of this gain, right? It'll give, oop, didn't want to move that. It'll give the whole gain back. And before you know it, it'll be sitting back here at 0.00671. Right. Sorry, I'm in the middle of lunch. So that is something that we're watching because it is showing signs of coming down there. If we want to finally change the pattern of the overall DGB of the last 8 months, not since January, essentially, of this year, since the beginning of the year, you have to stay on top of and hold for once these moving averages after you try to break out. You can see on the wick yesterday, you touched the 200-day and held it. You need to hold these moving averages down here, right? And DGB, hold them and start to build the base. Then you can start getting some bullishness instead of just giving back up every time. You can see you pumped up, pump, gave the moving averages back up, pump, 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 gave it up, pump, gave it up. The whole time, ever since the blow off top in late November and December, every time you've gotten on a pump above these moving averages, it's immediately over the course of a week or so, giving it back and not been able to hold it. That is what I'm watching for right now over the next week or two. Can we finally hold that in DGB? Can we finally hold this and flip this? Because I am very bullish on DGB and AMP for next year. Are we finally digging out a bottom and holding a base? The next few days to a week or so will let us know here in the DGB. The AMP, look at that. I didn't even notice this yesterday. Must have happened very quickly overnight when I was sleeping. But we did have a little coming to life from a swing low, right? DGB. We did pump at that wick up 36% from where it was at. Now, could this be a bottom? Because I have over 1 million coins of AMP. I'm super bullish on AMP. Is this trying to wake up AMP from its bear market bottom ever since this mountain double top back in the spring of 24 and then the Donald Trump induced rally in the fall and the early winter and the holiday season of 2024, right? And going into 2025? Or are we going to go to all-time lows? I'm not sure, but I'm very bullish, and the track does show that this is where we should be bottoming out. And then over the next couple of months, we start to have a nice, consistent move to the upside. And by the latter part of next year, we should be between 2 and 5 cents. And I'm still forecasting that. I'm holding my 1 million coins until it gets there, which I think when I bought it was roughly $4,600 worth. I don't remember the exact. I think it was about $4,600. And I'm looking to 5 to 10x that, right? So we're going to be patient. We're going to sit and do nothing. Nothing, I tell you. Absolutely nothing except the coins that I bought. And you say, where'd you accumulate? Didn't accumulate anything up there. I did buy some last year in early December, and then it rallied and I sold it. And then I started buying it back when it got down into here. And I just slowly started buying a few $100s every time it dipped down around there. And then, yeah, we were down, I don't know, probably 40% after it broke support. But it just made that back up. But I do think 2026, 2027, let me time check, is going to be the year of the AMP, is going to be the year of the DGB. It will mint thousandaires, hundredaires, dollaraires, millionaires, depending on how much you buy and can afford to risk. I'm not a financial advisor. This thing could go to absolute dog shit, but I'm confident enough in what I know to have about $4,600 invested, which is less than 1% of my net worth. So I could afford, in theory, to lose that, right? So that's where I'm at with the AMP. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing what I'm doing and what we are learning together to become asset millionaires, right? As we scroll down the list, the Ethereum price took a big drop because it was coming up to major resistance. You can see it came all the way up from the 3,068 and came all the way up to the 200-day moving average, right? Now, what looks to happen here is a big drop could fall where either A, you're coming back to retest the 3,068. If you do that, you'll have a slight rally, but you likely won't hold that, and you would have big downside risk. Or you're going to start getting some support in here, and you're going to try to build that and get back above the 200-day moving average in the daily time frame that's sitting at $3,599, and then start to get bullish, right? So this is very interesting, but you can see that bearish cross that we forecasted is actually happening. So that's something that's very, very interesting. Right there, you see that? So that is something that's interesting. That's something that we forecasted the other day and said we were going to have a bearish cross. And now we are actually having a bearish cross. Things are subtly still bearish in the crypto sphere, but yet it seems at some point, eventually, something big is going to happen in the overall financial sector, and it's going to blow this thing one way or the other. You can see before I got to let you go, the XRP had that nice pump and then up and down jagged fashion where it was up 10, 12%, and then down 10, 12%. It came all the way up to these overhead moving averages that have been holding the price back for several months now since the springtime. And it got rejected yesterday initially, and then again today on today's daily candle. And now what we're watching out for, if it doesn't hold this 50-day moving average in the weekly time frame, unfortunately, you're going to come down initially somewhere between our wick low and our candle bodies, trade around, and in an up and down fashion, I believe you would eventually end up down there at the $1.77 or the 100-day moving average in the weekly time frame. Right? If you want to avert that and you want to turn this into a major bullish trend, stay above that 50-day in the weekly, come back and reattack the 256 and finally hold it. Something you haven't been able to do since you had that faithful flush 5 Fridays ago this week. Like the channel, subscribe, become members of Jabroni Killer. People have asked what they can do to help support the channel, and that is the easiest, simplest, best way. It starts at as cheap as $3.99 a month. If you get any value, education, or information, or financial education, that's a good way to help keep this channel and videos coming free every day. Peace and love. The Rock's Eyebrow. Jay.